Networking in business is essential, but do you know who you can trust? Today, we reveal both the importance of integrity in networking and business, and how to find trustworthy people. Hi, I'm welcome to the Radiant Business Podcast. I am your host, Jason Ross. I'm a web developer with nearly 12 years of experience in small business marketing and websites. I specialize in conversion optimization, SEO, and making sure that your website works for your business. Joining me today is co-host Yavor Yankov.
Hi everyone, I'm Yavor and I'm a student at SFU and I work with Jason as a sales rep and a copywriter at Radiant Freedom. Today we're joined by Brenda Ryan. She's the creator of the Referral Resource Guide, a trusted directory she's been building for 23 years. Brenda, would you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi. I'm Brenda Ryan, and I love what I do. My background in my life has determined the way I care about the community enough to screen and qualify anybody that I promote and represent, because I want to make sure the world is better and safer and more peaceful, because I was in it and I help to represent and promote others that are too. Share that vision. Thank you.
Awesome. And so, as I mentioned at the introduction there, one of the key things you focus on is helping businesses and customers connect with people who have integrity and are reliable and trustworthy, which is, I think, a huge thing for a lot of business owners. We've all had that horror story of the bad client from hell, or the business from hell that was just looking for anything they could use to get one over on us. So, and one of the things you do in your program is help people to avoid those nightmare stories by making sure that customers find businesses that are honest and have integrity and will work with them well and do good work. And for businesses to make sure they find honest customers of integrity that will honor their obligations. So maybe start with one of the first key things that you look at in business with and your philosophy on the integrity and trustworthiness.
Well, I love what I do because I know that I get to meet the best of the best people that are really caring about serving others. The big word, serving others. And if people aren't interested in that part of the vision, and what they're after is just to make a sale, then it's pretty obvious. It's pretty easy to spot. And those are the people that I thank them for a visit and invite them to go to the website to look around if they need some help. But I don't invite them to advertise because it's only by invitation.
So you mentioned that you screen everyone before you work with them. Could you explain to us what the screening process actually looks like?
Okay, well, my background is guidance and counseling and education. And so I hear I hear where their heart is, and I get a glimpse of their spirit. Now, that all sounds kind of different than advertising, but that's what I look for, are the people that have that language built into themselves. And then, I don't have to know a whole lot. I can just listen to them and know where they're coming from, and know if their motivation is making sure that people get, I suppose, receive what they need, not necessarily what they can, what a provider can provide, somebody that can provide something, but because if an advertiser, for example, cannot provide what they need, instead of just carrying them into some kind of sales pitch or something, that's the wrong motivation. And so what I do and have for 23 years is to prevent that from happening. I don't want anybody to have to Google for help, because everybody's going to say they're trustworthy and they're not. They're just doing their best to get ahead and not particularly provide any value. And I've been very, very fortunate in all these years never to have a complaint. So I'm pretty good at what I do. And so when people go, because of the reputation of the guide, the reputation of me, it's a no-brainer. I've got certainly endorsements online that provide all kinds of reasons why they've been helped. They're appreciative and grateful. So you just have to know people, and you have to know where they're trying to slide by and maybe say correct things that they think you want to hear. Well, it's not about that. It's about where they're coming from, and you can hardly mask it. I mean, you can be, I suppose, a narcissist or something and be charming and deceitful indefinitely till you get what you want, but it doesn't pass me. And so I don't know exactly how I could put it into words about the process, but I have a visit, and that visit and facial expressions and all kinds of stuff really lets me know a lot. And then I don't mind another visit or two, and then I feel like I really have a handle on who people are, and get it really excited about it, and so do they.
Awesome. And as I mentioned before, that is so huge in business, is being able to find people to work with that you can trust. Because, like, as a business owner, I think we've all had the client that refuses to pay their bills, that is abusive, argumentative, and as a customer, you've all had that company that doesn't do what they said they were going to do, demands more money, does all these other terrible things. And then we've also had experiences with companies that do more than what they promised and over deliver, or that customer that gives you a glowing recommendation and starts telling all their friends about what a great job you did when you did a great job. Mm-hmm. And next thing you know, you got 3 or 4 more customers coming your way from referrals.
Well, the main thing is that, in my opinion, is that I know for sure the people I promote and represent are there for the community, no matter if it's local or global, because that's what the intention is, and they know it, and I let them know right off the bat what I'm looking for. And if they feel like they qualify, then we continue to visit. And I find out more about their family, about their background. Like I said, I used to be a guidance counselor, and that's my degree, experience, and background. And I want to know where people are, where they're coming from, where they live, where they've come from. And because people that understand the value of transparency want to share that. People love to talk about themselves. And if people are trying to just sell, they're not interested in that kind of a conversation. So it's pretty easy for me to know. And that's where I come from. And that's where everybody that I know up till now is coming from. And I'm really, really grateful, because that's sincerity, that's transparency, and it's genuine.
Yeah, I guess a good analogy, a way to put it is, if you just want to be pitching all the time, go to a baseball park and get on the mound.
I don't exactly know what that means, but yeah.
Pitcher, the one who initially throws the ball over the plate.
Well, I've been to quite a few of my grandson's baseball games lately. So he's 6, and so they're undefeated, and I'm pretty happy about that. But coaching takes a lot, And I think that that's something I do a lot with people, because not so far as their integrity goes, but certainly so far as their advertising understanding goes, and what I feel like generic people need. Because if you're not able to talk to everybody, then they're not able to know what it is you offer and what you want to do for them. I mean, you can get into, I call it geek speak, because I don't understand it. And I love it when people that do geeky things can talk to me in language I can understand. And so that's what I encourage on ads, is make it so that anybody can know what you do, and they can actually see themselves being able to make use of your product or service.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned in our previous conversation that you don't list your prices on your website. So why does hiding the price actually help you screen for better customers?
Well, because that's what people want to do, is sign up. And all they can do is apply on my website. And they want to know why. And I go, because I've got to know who you are before I care about what you do.
I see. And I was also wondering, is there any trick to spotting a narcissist early before they become charming and deceitful and definitely?
No, they already are. They already are charming and deceitful. If they're a little too charming, that's a red flag. And, if they're trying to just woo you over and make you their best friend without even knowing. In other words, I love to ask questions, and I love to learn more about a person. And if they're not interested in who I am and about me in a similar way, then that's kind of a red flag, because it's a two-way reciprocal relationship. And it is a relationship rather than just a sell. And because those are the people that are in my guide. That's all there is. If that's not something somebody's interested in, I know immediately. And narcissists would probably not ask questions and be interested in my life or in where I am and anything about me. And so when you have a conversation that seems to flow, right? And when you have that, then you're talking to somebody that you all speak the same language, and you're interested in knowing more about them, and especially for me, how they can help others, because that's my focus, is how they can help the community.
Yeah. One thing I have tended to notice in my own dealings with people is when a person is a narcissist, is they tend to refuse to take responsibility for anything. It's like if there's anything that went wrong around them, it's always somebody else's fault. It's always some other thing's fault. It's never their responsibility. So
I don't get that deep into it. I just don't. But I think that's probably true. But when I'm talking to people and building relationships, because that's what I do. I mean, that's all that really matters. As we want to reach out and do business with somebody, and we need what they do or what they can provide, it's still about the relationship. Sometimes I interchange my language with an advertiser or a friend, because that's what it becomes, is a friendship, because I know them so well. And if somebody mentions something or asks for help to me personally about what their need is, and I go, well, I've got a friend that does this and that. Well, they don't even need to necessarily be, in my guide. I just know somebody that does, even though I've networked with them in person and have visited with them, and they just can't maybe afford it or something, but still I'm going to recommend them because I know who they are. I know where they're coming from, and I know their commitment to providing the service that they love to do. And that's the other thing. meeting people that love what they do, that's their passion. I was going to advertise for a guy that was just so awesome. And he didn't seem so excited about what it was he did and what we were talking about advertising. I said, is there anything you really love that you're up to, that you're doing? Well, a friend of mine and I are about to open up a business, start a business that has to do with people that have inventions and help them follow through. I said, why don't we advertise for that? And so that's what we did do. I just want to hear where they're coming from, where their passion is, and how it led up to where they are today, and all the background. I love it. And I'm way open to sharing my own journey, and like I did off the top of my head, but it's just, you can tell when people are in the zone that is going to benefit other people.
Yeah, that passion to, I want to do this thing that's going to help others, really does shine through when once you've found it in a person. And sometimes a person might just not know what that thing is that they love to do that helps others, that they can do or that they could learn how to do. And sometimes it takes the right conversation with the right person for them to finally figure that out. Because unfortunately, our world is full of people that do things they hate just because they need the money to put food on the table and provide for their family.
Something that normally I just delete is any kind of spam on my phone, a text message about something, a roofer in the area after we've had a storm or something like that. But I got this one text like that, and when I looked at it, I had a different feeling about it, and I actually called, and it turned out to be a great connection, and I am advertising for them. It wasn't a roofer. I just threw that out as an example that I've gotten a lot of that because we've had a lot of storms. But no, I told this girl, I said, I've really been looking for somebody that does what you do. And she goes, and I said, I've been praying about it. And she said, I have been too, that I would meet the right person to help me with my marketing and all this, that, and the other. I said, well, here we are.
Yeah.
Because that what I read was normal, the normal spam, but I just didn't get that normal feeling. And so I'm a listener to my heart and my gut, and what
In other words,
God,
this person passed the 5
how I'm
check.
guided.
So in other words, this person passed the 5 check.
Yeah, and it hasn't slowed down. It hasn't slowed down at all. So it's just a blessing, and that's what I count it. I count each and every one as a blessing. I really, really do, and I feel like for me, it's God inspired and God led, and it is mission driven as well. And I've done plenty of work like that. So I just know what it's like to be in the right company of people, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that person you're talking about there sounds like exactly the kind of small businesses that I love working with, that they have enough of a budget to invest in their marketing. They're passionate about what they do. They want to they want to make their money doing good works for the world. They just don't know how to communicate that, and they're kind of reaching out and grasping at straws, doing a bunch of random stuff, throwing money at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Well, it was a free text message. I found out it. I'm sorry. I found out it was from an old company that I had known that had sold to them, and they got their I guess their phone list or their email list. I didn't get an email, but and so I mean, it wasn't the best idea because I usually just delete things like that immediately. But I just got that overwhelming feeling to reach out to her. And so I did, and I'm really glad. I follow those things. I pay attention.
I guess there was some kind of instinct in you that was telling you that this person is different. than all the other spammers out there.
Yeah, and I've never done that before. Long time to receive all that stuff and only make one call, but I did it, and it was the right one.
And this kind of leads in perfectly to, another one of the things we wanted to talk about, which is building relationships on a foundation of integrity, which we've been kind of veering into already, but I would say now we can give this more of our undivided attention.
I have taught people that got on a Zoom call with me. This one, I'll call him a kid. He had just really started in this business. I don't remember if it was insurance, financial, something like that. And I do those calls out of building relationships, not to necessarily sign up or anything. But at the same time, I don't remember how it all started, but I told him about, what I did and showed it to him and all that. And then I said, well, tell me more about what you do. Well, instead of telling me more, he did a screen share and started going through these pages, pages of information. I'm just going, I stopped him and I said, how many pages do you have to show me? And he goes, oh, there's only about 15. And we'd gone through about 5. And I went, let me explain something to you, because I feel like you're probably kind of new at this, but we are just chatting, and I wanted to know a little bit more about what you do, which is not, in my mind, considered a presentation. And everything that you've shown me up till now is just a bunch of numbers and bunch of stuff. But I would suggest, if you want to sell anybody anything, that you carry on a conversation with them. And then if they go, oh, I'd really like to know a lot more about that, could we schedule another time to get together or whatever, which I do all the time. If you run out of time visiting and getting to know each other. And I said, were you trying to push people? I just do. I just call it what it is, what it seems like to me. And he goes, actually, yeah, I was trying to do that. I said, well, I'm going to suggest you not do that. If you really want to be a success in this, see who the other person is and get to know somebody, let them get to know you. And then if in the end you run out of time and you go, would you be interested in more information? And somebody goes, yeah, I'd really like to. Would you like to reschedule? Sure, that'd be wonderful. Something like, you're going to know if that's even a possibility. But to just sort of lay it on them, I would suggest you backing off of that. I'm just saying that's how I've been successful. So that's what, that's not the first and only time I've ever done anything like that either. So yeah. I just try to be a mentor in a way, because I can tell if somebody's brand new to the thing, and whether it's in person or on Zoom networking, and because there's a whole different way they go about it. And so I'm glad I can help.
Yeah, it sounds like that person was inexperienced and went into with the preconceived notion of that you attack sales like a used car, like your stereotypical used car salesman. Right. A hard sell, push, pitch. To the point you feel almost like you're at a baseball game and he's the pitcher.
Back to baseball.
Well, you talked about pitching. That's kind of the logical reference.
Okay.
So and I mean, one of the first things I learned going through this with my sales and marketing coach that I've been working with since 2016, which I found out in the coaching and consulting industry is an absurdly long amount of time to be working with the same person. And a lot of others that I know have been working with this person for many, many years too. Some of them pre-COVID, a lot of them. Is we actually developed a system where I'll put a person, get a person on a call after they've expressed an interest in learning more about this. And I'll go over them one-on-one about their website evaluating it across 5 key areas as to how effective is it in each of these areas to convert people right now, what are the major issues, and what are my recommended solutions. And I present that to them. It usually takes about 20 to 30 minutes. And during that whole time, I don't throw a single pitch. It's just all valuable information and coaching them through the marketing of websites. And how can you make your website actually showcase your business and what it is that you do for people and what value you bring to them in a way that they're going to want, that you're going to get their attention, so they'll pay attention, so they'll take a look at it. And at the end, those that you've convinced that they have a clear course of action of what to do next. Like in your case, you have the invitation to apply for an ad spot, which of course puts them into your buyer's journey where you do your visits with them and learn more about them, and they learn more about you and build that relationship. And yeah, I've found that my success rate went through the roof when I adopted that approach. So
on a personal level, I had a friend. She died about a year and a half ago. I had a friend that I'd known really a long time. She was in social work, and there's such a big umbrella for social work because I'm under it somewhere. And but she was telling me about going to a therapist. She had a real big tragedy in her childhood she was working on. And I said, and I knew about it. I already knew about it. And she said, yeah, I've been in counseling. And I said, how long have you been in counseling? Because, I don't keep up with everybody on a day-to-day, week-to-week scale. I just, I know my friends. I don't know all their ins and outs. She said 10 years. And I said, you've been working with she was a therapist. And I'm going, you've been working with a therapist for 10 years? And she said, yeah. And I said, what in the world do you all talk about after 10 years about this thing that took place? And she said, well, we keep talking about where it all came from and my anxiety and this and that. And I said, her name was Debbie. And I said, Debbie, that guy is making a mountain of money out of you. I said, as you know, this is not language that she and I don't understand. I said, you get to the point of it. And then the next thing you do is make a choice. And then you work on the choice from then on. You don't have to keep digging back into all that stuff and keep reliving that stuff. And I said, you're a therapist, you know this. I thought, oh my gosh, why didn't I know this? I could have stopped her, a long time ago.
Yeah,
And,
the whole point of a therapist is to take a person that has a emotional or mental or psychological problem and help them find a solution so they can overcome that and heal. And if the person's not doing that, then they're doing a disservice to their patients.
Well, they're making money is all they're doing. And I said, where'd you find this guy? And so anyway, it was one of those situations. And of course she got out of it, and I was going, talk to me. Let's just deal with it. You and me, let's just deal with it. Yeah. We can do this. So, but yeah, there's just people out there that are going to take advantage of people. And I had a painter, not somebody I knew, but in networking. And he goes, how do I get off of Angie's List? And I thought, that was a long time ago, and I didn't know anything about Angie's List. And I said, oh, I don't know. And I said, what happened? And he said, well, she got me off Angie's List. She wanted us to come paint. We did. And then she tacked on this, she tacked on that. And I said, yeah. And and then he said that she started complaining about this and about that. And we kept going back over there and trying to fix this and fix that. And he said, I finally had to stop. We were losing so much money. And then she wrote this nasty review. And I said, I have no idea but it helped me know exactly decisions I'd made about my own website, that I was right in the fact that there are going to be times that the community is going to take advantage of somebody. And so I had already made a decision that it was going to be like 3 strikes and you're out. And in other words, the first time somebody complains to me because if they write a review or do something like that, I'm going to them and I'm going to say, tell me more about the situation. Then I'd go to the guy or the woman person and say, tell me about the situation like he told me. And then I'd determine if that was valid or not on whichever part, like if the customer was taking advantage of the guy, just trying to get more work out of him or whatever. And so then the second time I would do a 3-way thing like we're doing right now to talk about it and get it out. And if it happened to be a third time, then I would instantly take them off. So in other words, back to your baseball analogy, yes, 3 strikes, you're out. And but I never had that come up one time, ever. I did go to Angie's website, Angie's List website, and realized that you couldn't go in there unless you paid money. And I thought, mine is so free. My website's free. All I want to do is expose all these wonderful people and let them be seen and known by the community that is built around me. I mean, I know people from being in the same place all my life, outside of living here and there, but this is where I was born and raised. Same church all my life, same community all my life, chairperson, my graduating class. I've built a community around me long before I started this business. And all I do is build relationships with people and get to know people and know who is trustworthy and who's not. And just in general, accumulate friends and do things for the community, volunteer stuff and all kinds of things. And so I have a foundation that's very, very valuable because they trust me and I trust these people I accumulate and I bring into the Referral Resource Guide family. And so therefore, I want to help them build their business. I want for them to be known because they're so awesome and special. And then I want the community to be kept safe from all those outliers that can, try to talk them into, oh, I'm great, and they're not. And so yeah. I see it on the Nextdoor website all the time where somebody's taking advantage of somebody in the community. So yeah. I'm always on there. I've got I don't know I guess I'll just call it a blurb. I've got a blurb about every company. And anytime I see that somebody's been taken advantage of or they're looking for somebody, I copy and paste it and stick it on there. And I not because I was trying, but I've got some kind of great review about being a helpful company or whatever it is. But it's not about me. It's about them. And I'm just glad to help.
Yeah, same. And my personal experience with the clients I've dealt with, usually when I've had a disagreement with them, it's usually because at some point during the course of the project we started to remember what it was that I promised, and what their obligations were differently. And so one of the things I found is document everything as accurately and completely as possible in your onboarding documentation. I call it a proposal in my industry. Get all parties to sign it. And if there's ever any point when you're getting into a disagreement with them, consult that and say, this is what we had agreed to, when we agreed to it. And 99% of the time that solves all the problems. You go back to it and say, oh yeah, I guess that's what we agreed to. And
I call it a contract.
I was missing or something that they were expecting that wasn't in the deal.
Oh.
And if it's something they really want, then we can always, rescope it and modify it and add it in. I'm always happy to do that. Just, just that we have to account for it in the project.
I have a contract and I sign it and I send it to them and I go, is this accurate? And if so, sign it and send it back. And then that's that. So there's no misunderstandings on my end,
Exactly.
on our end.
And that's what I view contract is a legally binding document that is meant to just clarify what both parties had agreed to at the time they made the agreement. Because, I mean, we're all human, and, you let enough time pass in a long-term agreement, eventually people are going to start forgetting things, they're going to start remembering things erroneously and be wrong. And having it written down clears all it up by bringing it back to this is what we'd agreed to back then, all clearly written down. And so it almost always solves the problems. And if it doesn't, then that's usually when okay, we've got one of those outliers. It's a bad actor who's just trying to get away with stuff. And even then, that's still having it all documented helps, because if it comes down to that, well, now you've got the legally binding document that a lawyer can then have a field day with their lawyer if it comes to that. And
I don't want to fight. I just want to let go. And the thing about that girl that I said that sent me that strange ad, and I returned her money and she'd already signed the contract. So, and on the contract, it says I don't have to do that. But as I said, it was kind of dirty money for me and I didn't want it. So I took a hit and that was okay because it was the right thing to do for me.
So it sounds like you lost a potential customer because you stuck to your standards then.
Mm-hmm. Oh, she wasn't potential. She had signed it, she had paid me, and she had sent me this strange ad. and what I did was I recommended I said, you want to come across as somebody that's going to carry on in that you're personable. And if all you do is put a website and a tagline, that's, and not give a phone number, it's just kind of not showing that friendly, personable part of your business, of you. And I said, and so when she decided to get upset with me because I hadn't told her to put a phone number on there, it just, I was going, well, it wasn't up to me to tell you that because you would not hire my designer to do it. You had a designer and you put what you want, but that's just not the best way to earn a customer is by being unfriendly, and especially when you're in a relationship with me, because I represent a lot of things, and one of them is that the people that care about you, the community, they are expecting you to have a certain level, certain standard of behavior, and to put a phone number on it. And I said, all I'm asking you is put a phone number on it, if nothing else. If you don't want to put your name. That's a very simple
revision.
Very simple request too, and so she didn't want to do it, and I was going, well, I can't advertise for you.
Yeah, and I guess when you took a deeper look into the person's website, now you know why she didn't want to do it, because...
Well, I have no idea. She may think everything's all fine, and that is fine for her. I'm not trying to tell her what to do. I'm just saying she misrepresented herself to me. And because I went on what she was talking to me about, and but when that was all there was to it, it just seemed like there was an air of deceit and not to be more open about the interest in talking to somebody about it. And, so anyway, I see that and I go, no, that's not where I'm coming from. And
I mean, to me, that's a huge red flag.
And I can't come from the same place you are. So no, that's the only time it's ever happened. So, usually, I mean, in conversation, it wasn't like that at all. But when I saw that and she didn't want to do that, and I'm just going, this is a different person than the one I spoke to in the first place, because we spoke several times.
Now, This also brings us into another key point as well with your business model is, of course, you're supplying businesses with leads and customers with solution providers. However, there are plenty of other businesses out there that try to do a similar type of thing in the form of like selling businesses lists of leads. So, yeah, that's a good opportunity to now talk about what makes you different. We can also bring up my own and Yavor's own personal experiences in dealing with acquired lists versus, more personalized referrals from people like yourself.
I would never buy leads. I would never. I don't buy zip codes. I don't buy leads. It's all got to be organic, all of it. And I go to enough meetings. I mean, there's more than enough meetings to go to. There's plenty of Zooms to go to meet people. And I can be in a breakout room with 4 or 5 people, but I can see one person in there, maybe 2, that I can really see somebody and go, I got to get to know them. And it's not about the sell, not about anything. I just need to know that person because of who they seem to be. I don't know what they do. I don't know if I've already got somebody that already does what they do, that. But definitely I need to know that person because those kind of people are rare, really. And it's important for me to know those gems that come along. And so that if I mean, I don't know what that looks like. I'm actually meeting somebody in person that found me. And I guess Friday for lunch, I never do that because I'm always meeting people from all over the place, but never locally. And except unless I go to just a regular networking meeting. But this was just from LinkedIn. And I loved what I read as to what she did on her profile, and I'm really looking forward to that. So it's just that, that one in a million sometimes in a way. It's not the sell.
And for us, we met on an Alignable Smart Connect speed networking event, and it was the same thing when you started talking. I just kind of realized, we really need to connect outside of this 7-minute time limit, where we can have a real conversation, because there's definitely something more there than what we can ever pick up on in 7 minutes. 7 minutes is enough for us to pick up on that. There's definitely a connection there and a conversation to be had over a longer period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And Yavor, you can speak a bit about your experience at contacting people from a purchased list versus people from being met in networking events, more organically.
Yeah, I mean, from my experience, I have not had any success, or most of the people that I've contacted from a purchase list have not even picked up the phone. They haven't answered emails or anything like that. But on the other hand, people who have been given to me, leads that have been given to me from a network event, have been very open and very welcome to talking to me and a potential working partnership.
Yeah, in fact, Yavor's first, commissioned sale came from someone that I'd met at a networking event, and then handed him over to Yavor to follow up. And Yavor did, and then ended up resulting in helping that person with a problem that they were having, and getting them and delivering them a solution.
Yeah, and which reminds me to the question, Brenda. You said that you mail your print guide to over 5,000 people who have requested it. And my question is, why do you make them request it instead of just mailing it to everybody in town?
Oh, because I mail it all over the world. It's not just in town. But I'm not. I take. My neighbor brought me my mail yesterday, and he said, "I see that there's one envelope that you probably want." And he goes, "And I know the rest of it goes in recycling." And I said, "You're right, because I don't. Anytime I don't request something, I don't want it. I don't want to. I look at it as spamming my mailbox." And my guide is free, but it's not trash. So I don't do that to anybody. Like I said, I don't buy zip codes either. I build relationships and I invite people to have it if they want it. And oftentimes immediately after I've visited with them, they go to my website, sign up for it. But then other people find it, and if they've signed up for it, then I put them on I send it to my VA, and she puts it on the mailing list. So, yeah, that's how it works in my world.
And yeah, and my shoot, there was something you mentioned there that sparked an idea, something I wanted to bring up. I can't remember what it is now, but
Well, I was just wondering, wouldn't you reach more people by sending it to everyone as opposed to only to those who have purchased it?
Do you know how expensive that would be? I send it out to everybody that I advertise for. That's number one. Number two, if somebody requests it, whether I'm out handing it out, because I do that if I'm out at a networking meeting and people ask for it, I take a bunch of them. I've got a book bag. I carry it. And then when I meet people on Zoom or in calls or whatever, usually LinkedIn. I don't spend much time on Alignable, but and actually that woman that I'm meeting Friday is from Alignable. It's pretty crazy. I don't connect with too many people on Alignable. I'm always on LinkedIn because my profile's really there. And but that, if they ask me and they text me, I say, text me your address, I'll add you, because I'll do that. I don't mind. But it's not going to be by anybody that doesn't know what it is or isn't interested in what I do, because they don't understand. This is the biggest problem I have. Biggest problem, hands down. I can tell somebody what I do, exactly what I do, and them say to me, well, I've tried something like that. And you know what I say? I get so excited. I go, really? You have met somebody that's a founder and a publisher that's out running around trying to make sure that in my case, I share with everybody, that I screen and qualify people just to keep people safe, to make the world a better, safer, more peaceful place, that you really get you get your needs taken care of, and that I really get to know everybody that I promote and I represent. I said, you have met somebody like that? And they go, well, no, not like that. And I'm going, well, then you haven't tried what it's about to be in my world, because my world, it's all built on relationships, whether I mail it out to somebody or whether I am promoting an advertiser, because that's where I come from, or relationships for
essentially
forever.
That's your market dominating position right there. If you haven't really thought of it that way, that might be the area where you need to then figure out how do we word it.
I have other words for all that, but yeah, you have some kind of words that not everybody would understand, and I have a more generic way of saying things.
That comes from my marketing background.
It's okay. It's all right. I just try to stay in the world where everybody is, because that's how I'm relatable to everybody. Somebody that might not understand. However, I don't understand how somebody could misunderstand what I do and tell me that they've done that with other people. My analytics guy that told me there's 15,000 hits a month told me, oh, but Brenda, what's even better is you've got stickability. And I'm going, what stickability? I don't know. I don't come from that world. And he goes, well, the way that you built it with knowing all these people, they come in, they read everything, they call, they click through to their websites and all the thing, or email them or whatever, because they know where they are. And I'm going, well, good. And I could see how that could be manipulative, but I didn't know that when I started it. All I started out was, I didn't even put my name. I didn't put anything in my guide about me, because I didn't want to get in the middle of connecting people to people that they could trust. And I was handing them out to everybody. I mean, everybody I knew, I want to help you. I want to help you, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I started from ground zero. It was my first designer that I found like in an Office Max kind of a place. He was recreating a PDF of an invitation that I had. And I thought, gosh, she's pretty creative. And I said, do you freelance to the side? And he goes, oh, yeah. And so that was my first designer. I didn't even know I needed a designer. It wasn't even, and when I went to talk to people, I only could describe an idea in my head. I didn't have anything to show them. It hadn't happened yet. So, I mean, I came from just an absolute belief and naive place of believing that it was important enough to do it. And God had given me the name of my company, which was Connections Publishing. A portion of the proceeds go to World Hunger. It's only by referral. And with that, I went out the door and started talking to people I knew, liked, and trusted. I didn't dream of where it is today. I never could have dreamed that. It's so big. It's so much bigger than, and the purpose and the mission behind it. And but no, I get excited. I want to meet somebody else that does what I do. I want to join forces because it's a big job. And I'd love to meet somebody else with that same heart and spirit. I really would. It'd be really exciting to me.
Yeah, and I would allow both of you to help your clients so much better because you'll be able to now merge your networks.
I mean, there's no end to when you can find somebody like that. You can feel like you can conquer the world or something, and really, really, really take care of everybody. But he told me, he said, Brenda, I've never seen another he called it a directory. I've never seen another directory website with the stickability and the consistency you have. And I went, me? I mean, I because I can think of a lot of directories, and amazed that and those are the ones that are throwing paint on the wall. I'm not. I have the community, whether it's locally or United States or Canada, North America, or globally, that really know where I'm coming from and what I want to do for them. Because I'm passionate about it. I mean, I don't hold back. Why would I hold back? It really does matter. And it matters to the people that I talk to. So when I introduced myself and whatever I said to you, Jason, in the first place, that point must have gotten across. So here we are.
Yeah, for sure. And on that note, it's a good time to segue to how can people that are wanting to experience this for themselves get in touch with you and take that first step towards working with you.
I've got a phone number and it's on the website. I've got or I can give it to them. It doesn't matter. I've got I don't love emails because I get so many, but and then there's a website. You can contact me there because I always get any messages that come in or whatever anybody wants to say to me. And but I think my phone number's, I can't imagine my phone number not being there. It's published. Just Google me. I'm there. Go to LinkedIn. I'm there. So
we'll put a link to your website in the description below. So any of you are watching and want to work with Brenda, the link to her website will be in the description down below. So look for it in there, and be sure to get in touch with her. However she recommends you get in touch with her on the website and take that first step towards connecting with trustworthy businesses, or as a business connecting with clients that you can depend on to honor their obligations with you and deal with you honestly.
That's right. That's where I live, is right there, and making sure that I can still take care of people no matter where they are, no matter what it is they need. One more story. I was walking, I had had a surgery last summer. My neighbor was walking my dog because my dog's about 60, 70 pounds, and I wasn't supposed to be pulled, pushed, or lift over 10. So he was walking it and walking my dog Max, and So I was walking with him just to kind of build up my strength and energy a little bit and taking walks. It was nice days. And he said, oh, by the way, do you know somebody that his wife had had 7 knee surgeries on the same knee in 2 years? So, I mean, they're worn out over there. Best neighbors in the world. And he said, do you have somebody that could come along and decorate our Christmas tree? And I didn't know anybody specifically that knew how to decorate a Christmas tree, but I knew a really awesome girl that was an organizer, and she popped in my mind. And I said, let me go home. When we get back from walking, I'll call her up and see what she thinks, which I knew was going to be a good fit because I knew her really well, or know her very well. And sure enough, by 9 o'clock the next morning, she was over there decorating their tree. All because I recommended her, and he got a hold of her, and she was over there the next morning decorating her tree, and she just loved it. She even fell asleep while some of it was going on and all that. Just complete comfort knowing that I knew her and that I recommended her and that she did a fabulous job just decorating a Christmas tree. So
That is awesome.
yeah, I love to be so helpful. If there's anything anybody needs, call me, text me, however you want to contact me. But certainly there's a form on the website that you can contact me. And if that's easier, then do it. Just do it. I'll help.
Yeah. So, it's great having you on, Brenda. This has been a
Thank you.
wonderful conversation. And I think it's touched on a subject that could be a sore spot for a lot of business owners and customers out there. So, I think I really love what you're doing, and want to continue to be a part of it long term as well. So now, those of you who are watching, whether you're watching us on YouTube or Rumble, be sure and leave a comment down below to give us your feedback on the episode. And also, if you liked it, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe if you're on YouTube. Follow us on Rumble. And we'll see you all in the next episode in 2 weeks. Bye for now.
And I want to say thanks a lot. Enjoyed it. Love you guys. You're so awesome. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.